Dear comrades, for various logistical reasons, we were unfortunately unable to attend this internationalist and anti-imperialist conference in Dakar, but on behalf of the Italian Communist Party, we send all our moral support and solidarity. The world is increasingly entangled in wars and macro-regional tensions, and the piecemeal world war is unfortunately increasingly concrete and present in our lives, in our economies, in our minds, and in the daily lives of all citizens of every state. The genocide that has been going on in Gaza for more than a year by Israel, and the recent aggression in Lebanon, in violation of every rule of international law, concretely demonstrate how imperialism always acts and places itself with double standards, and a double standard that, while with regard to the war in Ukraine, it uses all legal as well as military tools to fight Russia, knowing full well that that story of tension between Russia and Ukraine was born from the Euromaidan coup in Ukraine in 2014, it does absolutely nothing but mild recommendations towards Israel. On the one hand, economic sanctions senseless, exclusions from sports and Olympic competitions. On the other hand, in fact, nothing less. If this is the response of imperialism to the emergence of a new multipolar world order, an order that we Italian communists firmly support and hope for, then it is necessary to strengthen the unity of the progressive and anti-imperialist forces that must face this wave of massacres and wars. The ongoing conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine are fundamental pieces of a single world conflict that has as its stakes the perpetuation of a US-led unipolar world, or the construction of a multipolar one that is a prelude to democratic and mutually beneficial international relations. The much heralded Ukrainian offensive immediately got bogged down, and on both sides there are many deaths. Despite the massive shipment of weapons to Kiev by NATO countries, the Russian Federation can count on a much larger human and industrial potential than that of Ukraine. This war will necessarily have to end with an agreement between the parties if we do not want to go towards a catastrophe of wider proportions. Peoples suffer and struggle in every part of the world, divided in a strategy of continuous tension. Even in Korea, they suffer a de facto occupation of the south of the country through United States military bases. In Senegal, Macky Sall and his allies, the Senegalese Democratic Party and other parties close to the ruling party, in complicity with the administration, have created an institutional crisis that exists only in their political maneuvers to keep the social opposition out of the presidential race, postponing the vote for 10 months. In many African countries, however, a feeling of reappropriation of resources among the population and of freedom from European and especially French colonialism is awakening also through the help of non-corrupt soldiers. See the case of Niger. Bourgeois cosmopolitanism, however, continues in its work of fake global democratization, shifting the attention of public opinion to superstructural issues rather than to class conflict and Western imperialism, a cosmopolitanism that has given the illusion of a globalization of rights without considering the intrinsic veracity of capital. But at present, The moment we are living in Europe sees the hegemony of the various bourgeois nationalism and sovereignism that facade criticize globalism, but in fact feed on the same dynamics of capitalist exploitation. In Italy, the situation in the country sees the Meloni government implementing an Atlanticist strategy, with some timidity in foreign policy, and corporate and repressive economic rigor in domestic policy. All the phrases about the social right, a deception that has always been implemented, have been shattered in the reality of capitalism, from which in any case fascism and its false revolutionary spirit also derive. Public health has been completely neglected, if not under attack, for years. And today, even more so with this government that turns the random numbers on cost containment and spending efficiency, as well as talking about the false mirage of public-private collaboration, which in recent years has been one of the main chasms of Italian public funds. The attack on public health is widespread in all European countries. Fratelli d'Italia, Brothers of Italy, a post-fascist party, sovereignist only with the weak but certainly not with the Americans, continues to put us in front of an unprecedented picture of the constitutional democracy of our country. The Republican Constitution, born from the anti-fascist resistance during the Second World War, debased from within by the majority of those social forces that gave it life, struggles to exercise its role in the present time, characterized by the economy that dominates politics. A situation plastically represented in our recent past by the successions of technical governments and real political elites, which finally created the condition for the advance of the right in the country. What answer should the Communist Party in Italy give today? There is no model and there is no decision-making system that does not provide for collective participation in the path to be taken. At present, we are working in the Italian territories to grow, take root and spread, and we demonstrate with our action that it is possible to achieve the unity of the forces of the class left, respecting mutual identities. Already in the regions of Emilia-Romagna, Liguria and Umbria, unitary political lists of the class left have seen our party as the pivot of unitary action. We are rebuilding from scratch with seriousness the concept of party making, respect for the governing bodies, and at the same time the right flexibility and reasonableness in dealing with society and its varied expression. We shun leaderists with windows made up of intransigent proclamations or, on the contrary, movementist concessions, because they will not lead to any kind of development, either of a united, strong and popular communist party, or of any kind of common front with the other democratic and social force. Only by completing such a process will we have the right dignity in order to continue to honor our membership of this important anti-imperialist world platform. A platform that is facing enormous challenges in a very dangerous time such as today, as well as carrying out the ambitious goal of making a just peace prevail that respects the self-determination of peoples, as the recent events of the oppression of the Ukrainian Nazis in Donbass, of the war that NATO has unfortunately brought up to the borders and inside Russia, of the Palestinian people in Gaza and the West Bank fighting for their self-determination, of the Lebanese people illegitimately invaded by Israel, of the Yemeni people attacked by the Anglo-American imperialist forces, and the list would be long. We sincerely thank all the political forces that have intervened and will intervene at the organizers of the Dakar meeting of the anti-imperialist platform. Only united and cohesive will we win. To work and struggle, comrades.